So I hope this is just the PTSD speaking.
Hey, Mr. Man.
All right.
Alright.
What do we got? So the angle is transcending personal grief. Yeah, wow. Far out, hey? This one's going to be emotional, I think.
I think so too.
Have I got anything right now?
Nope.
All right, so I'm going to go around and say hello to everyone. So how are you, Izza? You good?
I have a nice surprise for you this week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How are you?
How are you, bros? Hey, Clepe. What's going on? We can't do 5 days again. We're never doing a Friday night ever again. That's much better. Create some scarcity in the market. The market's becoming too
Saturated.
yeah. So we can do maybe 10 cities.
Yeah.
If I'm rested, it's doable.
So that's the logo combined.
And maybe show me one this size. We just got to, because I really want to launch a new brand in the new year. How you doing?
Good to see
Welcome
you.
home. GG in the house. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, I think one of the things that a lot of people, struggle with in life is adversity, and everyone's got their story. But Aaron, when I read your story of adversity, it really inspired me, but it also touched me very deeply in an incredible way. Because I understand, like before you actually started the gym.
Wow. That's going to be a f***ing podcast and a half.
Yeah.
It was very good, very emotional, very emotional. Like, wow. I honestly think that's going to be one of the most powerful podcasts that we've recorded to date, and I honestly believe it'll touch a range of different people. These guys have built a successful online business, then went to launch a bricks and mortar gym, and I think it was about 2 weeks before they opened. When the key guy, Aaron, his wife was killed in a car accident. But it just really touched on a nerve, because he just said, he was always afraid that something bad was going to happen to her. And I think that was one thing that just touched me a little bit too deeply, because I saw so much of my own self in Aaron. But yeah, that's the scorn of empathy, is you're constantly putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Yeah, the way he spoke about Yasmin is the way I feel about Noah. And there are some times that I wish I didn't feel what it would be like to be in someone else's shoes, and this is one of those times.
We talk about pain being important.
Yeah, it's very important. It's what makes us stronger. But I'm also afraid that the more I think about that, the more potential responsibility I have in bringing that into some kind of reality. And that's just it's a big responsibility. But it's one that I do my best to resolve at every opportunity. And yeah, I believe we're going to be together forever, and he'll be here for a long time to come. And yeah, I hope he outlives me. I know he'll outlive me. But yeah, pain. Wow, what an awakener, hey? And that was the thing. Like, I think everybody goes through, everyone has their own trauma. Everyone has their own grief. It's a spectrum. It's the degrees that vary. But not everybody has the hard wiring, or even the soft wiring, or the tools to know how to get through that and overcome those obstacles. And what was incredible with Aaron is the level of consciousness that he had to his preconditioning, that the conditioning he did prior to the accident that enabled him to actually survive and get through it. Because he was very open that he thought about it would be easier to end it all. And I can totally relate, because I've often thought if something was to happen to Noah, that would be my greatest test. But it's not one that I want. So I hope this is just the PTSD speaking. Because that's one of the things I'm learning with PTSD is there's a part of you that just prepares for the worst. You expect the worst. And it's actually nice to know that now. Because before I thought there was something wrong, because it certainly didn't feel like a human thing to do. It didn't feel like a normal thing to do, to be thinking about and expecting the worst things to happen. And to me, I just conditioned myself that I was security minded and I was overprotective, and I just, it's just the way I operate. And what's interesting is when I was doing personal protection and armed escorts, like, that skill was incredible, because you're constantly assessing risk, you're constantly assessing worst case scenario, and it makes you incredibly good when it comes to security. You become the ultimate bodyguard, because you are literally vigilant and on guard. But when you are living in a world where it's safe and there's nothing to be vigilant about, it can be annoying. You're constantly preparing for threats that aren't there. And that can be tiring. Shake it off. Man, he's a tough boy. Like, he's like legit grit. I was in tears. He was in tears. That's sweet. Okay, yeah, cool. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 43 of the Hey Kerwin Show.
What advice do you have around launching a podcast?
Whoa, where are you pointing that camera, Matty?
I'm just pointing it at the podcast.
Oh, wow, okay. Funny you should mention that. We're actually in the midst of recording some podcasts today. We actually have a how to launch a podcast ebook, white paper. So what we'll do is we'll throw the link up right here. Ching! Fantastic.
Excellent. Oh, thanks, Bill.
Stacey, such a pleasure. You can't think of a worse starting point. You know, first kid at 15, 3 kids by 21, homeless at 19 with 2 kids.
I've got tingles right now.
Yeah.
Shit.
The punchline was when we were talking, and I was like, this massive build-up, and then she goes, oh, I got a call from the school. The principal told me my son tried to commit suicide. He was 9. I was like, the air just got sucked out of the room. I was like, but it touches everything. It touches domestic violence, bad upbringing, parenting, mental health. Like, oh man, we went everywhere. Seriously, today was some of the best podcasts we've done. Yeah. If you guys listen to the one from this morning and don't cry, I will reach over and pull a nose hair. And, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm unstoppable. What can I do for you? There are going to be some skills that when they're not native, they're going to take a long time. And I'm naturally empathetic. I'm naturally, quite compassionate, and I'm naturally quite harmonious and diplomatic as a leader anyway. But it still took me a good 20 years to work out how to do it effectively. Like, I'd love to see, a high level of vulnerability. I don't think I've ever seen you show like a high degree of emotion.
Oh, I have issues with showing emotion in public.
Bingo. There we go. Why?
I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Okay, that's something you should explore. Because as a leader, especially, and again, leading in a corporate environment, okay, you're good. Don't worry about it. But leading in a high performance environment, where you're working with, because talent and emotion can often go hand in hand. Oftentimes talented people have, the way that you get the best out of them is you tap into stuff that no one else can. You tap into their emotional side, you tap into their spiritual side, you tap into their intellectual side, and you bring them together, and that creates a really powerful force. And where I see your opportunity is bringing that out, and the way that you're going to be able to, and I think it's really interesting because I think that the thing that's preventing you from connecting at the deeper level with other people is vulnerability.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah, like showing the emotion. And learning how to be okay with showing a level of emotion.
It just makes me feel like I'm weak or...
But it's not.
Just like there's like way crying. Like
But that's old school mentality. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But that's old school mentality.
It's like there's worse things in the world to be upset about.
Yeah, there is. But one of the greatest powers that one of the greatest superpowers that a leader has is the ability to create connection that builds trust. And you'll never fully connect at the deepest level with someone until you show them your heart and your soft side. I think, physical pain and mental pain are connected. The only thing is mental pain is one of those things that nobody can see it, so it's oftentimes, it's a hidden pain, whereas physical pain and mental pain, to me, it's a strong relationship. The way that we regulate physical pain is very much the way that we regulate mental pain. And I think I've learned from a very early age that if you want your body to grow, if you want your body to respond, you've got to put it through pain, often questionable levels of pain. But to me, it's always about the bigger picture. The more able we are to deal with physical pain, the stronger the mind becomes, because the mind is what transcends the pain from the body. And pain is a response from the brain. It's a stimulus, it's a nerve response. And I think, it's an essential. Well, maybe people would argue. I guess in my perspective, it's almost like it's an essential ingredient in growth. Because without pain, we really don't know what our limitations are. Because I see so many people in business that don't succeed because they're afraid of the pain. The mind often has to be broken down and needs to break in many cases in order to become stronger. People call it a breakdown, I call it a breakthrough. And I think the two are intrinsically linked. It's just unfortunate that so many people are afraid to go there because of what they perceive it means or how they think they'll be perceived by people who are watching. Go to the pain.
Go home to your son.
Noah, I'm coming. I'm coming, Noah!